A thread by Carlos Osuita. How can this be? The Democrats and the press told us that the protests are peaceful, and President Trump made them violent by merely existing. Well, no. From voanews.com, anarchist groups tied to riots in 4 U.S. cities. Quote, many of the features of anarcho-socialist extremism seems to parallel the key tactical structures documented in libertarian anarchist and jihadi extremism, end quote. What did I tell you about the sectarian death squad assassination of Aaron J. Danielson in Portland? The murderers were trained by the Iranian Quds Force. Look at this. From KOIN.com, DA pursues riot laser charges against more Portland protesters. The rioting is over, and the reason being given is unhealthy air quality. Sure. People with gas masks who breathe smoke and tear gas every day are suddenly worried about air quality. Stafford Act, baby. They got to meet the Delta Force face to face. The air quality is Ted Wheeler's cover story. If indeed the Delta Force was used, a general went to Wheeler's house. Link in the description to Jeremy Stonehead's team to discover deadly space germ. Wheeler was told that he would not interfere and he would not say anything publicly. The consequences for him would be dire. Read this and laugh. From nationalreview.com, Minneapolis City Council members complain of rising crime months after trying to defund the police. Residents are asking, where are the police? Said newly elected council member Jamal Osman, who has been swamped by resident complaints. They're blaming the cops. Leftists are little kids. The worst dinner of my life was with a leftist film director from Santa Monica. He was obsessed with me because he couldn't pigeonhole me, so he invited me to dinner with his family. This is exactly what the 4-year-old son did in the restaurant the whole time, on the table. Neither parent stopped him. They ignored him, monkeying around on the news desk. Okay, so. Okay, sitting on the table, messing with the parents. The kid went to USC and was a leftist radical. I used to check his Facebook page. The director's wife used me as a technical advisor for the worst spy thriller in the history of all human languages. I told her the reality of terrorism, but she changed it. The book was so horrible that it has never even been published. And boy, was she snooty. They couldn't figure me out, so finally, they brought out the big gun. We'd like to show you our most cherished possession. What's that? An original John Wayne Gacy clown portrait. Absolutely not, I said. They were flabbergasted. Why don't you want to see it? Because he was a fucking serial killer. I don't care if you have it, but I'll leave this house before I look at it. Guess what? They respected me after that. But it was also a declaration of war. I ended the relationship because after that, they constantly put me down for everything I'd ever done in my life. It didn't anger me because I knew I'd made them feel like crap, and they knew I was a much better person. But the 4-year-old chimp became a 30-year-old chimp. And he probably met the Delta Force on a smoky night. I don't care in the least what happens to these people. Texas guerrillas. You know why I don't care how rough they're treated? Because they're fighting for totalitarianism, not freedom. They have the unmitigated gall to come into my world and try to destroy it. Instead of doing the adult thing and going somewhere isolated to live off the grid as a hunter-gatherer and subsistence farmer with no taxable income and no need to drive, they want me to live in total anarchy. Fine, then say hello to the Delta Force. I wish you well. It took the US and our allies 9 months to shape the battlefield for the retaking of Mosul from the Islamic State. The operation suffered 0 setbacks. The Texas guerrillas are up against people who fought entire major conflicts clandestinely. We learn about these conflicts after the fact, when their deployment home is announced. The Special Purpose Marine Air Ground Task Force Crisis Response Central Command CPMAGTF-CRCC was deployed for a full year. Heavy combat in multiple countries. Not one casualty. The only country we know they were in is Syria. We don't know their weapons. There were only 120 of them in Syria. That was enough. The Stafford Act allows those people to be deployed here. Boy, oh boy. These guys here? Not the Special Purpose Marine Air Ground Task Force Crisis Response Central Command, or the Delta Force, or anybody else. In jail without no bail, in jail, we're in jail because we failed, in jail without no bail, in jail, we're in jail because we failed. Jail, if they're lucky. Everyone needs to go home. Stop the play acting. You have no idea who or what you're up against. Thanks for listening, and I can't find my Trump pen, so he will be the greatest president that God ever created.